My next guest, unfortunately, is playing a starring role, something that he's frankly used to as an actor. But this harrowing experience is just, it's all too real. Watch.
So I'm still hiding behind the boulders, sparks coming. So I have to duck behind these rocks here. I'm ready to jump into the ocean. All the firemen, they got the hell out of here. They evacuated quickly. I should have followed suit. But right now I'm here, and phone doesn't really work. No one knows where the hell I am.
Thankfully, he is with us tonight. Sebastian Harrison and his wife, Livia Pillman, join me now. Just watching that moment, Sebastian, your heart just sinks, hoping that you're okay. And thank goodness that you're both here. Sebastian, following the evacuation orders, you decided to go back to your home, your sanctuary, to do everything you could to try to protect it. And when the fire began to spread in your direction, can you tell us what you tried to do?
Oftentimes when we get an evacuation order, it's a little bit, in my mind, it's a little bit premature. And unfortunately, I've been through this a couple of times. So, and I've seen a lot of my friends and even family that they have stayed behind when they've been evacuated, and they've been able to put out fires, small fires coming from flying embers from even, hundreds of yards or miles away. So that was my initial intent if that were to happen. But, you always have to have a plan B. So if it's a whole mountain of or curtain of fire, then you begin to leave. So when I saw that there was a curtain of fire, I left, but I went across the street. And my plan B was I'm going to see if it goes through the property, and perhaps maybe a structure or two is still survive. It's going to survive because my father lives next to me. He had 5 structures. We had 7. And I thought maybe I'll be able to put out one if it goes through. The problem is, at a certain point, I saw the fire trucks just quickly leave,
Mm.
and I thought, oh, well, that's not a good sign. So I tried to get in my car; it wouldn't start. And I got back out, and I saw just this whole hurricane of embers going toward me, and I thought, I'm doomed. So I started heading down by the ocean where there's big boulders. And unfortunately, I couldn't see because there was embers and smoke and clouds and flying debris and all sorts of, things flying in the air. So I was covering my head. I fell down, hurt myself a little bit, but I was eventually able to hide behind some boulders. And these messages that you heard from before were all messages that I was trying to send to my wife, Livia, who she had no clue where I was. We hadn't been in contact for
2 hours.
2 hours, but I was sending her messages on WhatsApp. But they didn't go through. But yeah,
My
and this
God,
guy pushed the
Livia, hold
envelope
on. I
too
mean, when
much.
I can't imagine what you were feeling, just knowing that he was trying to give these messages to you. You could not reach, your love. What were you thinking when you saw these? When you're sitting here having him describe it?
I left him at 4:30. We couldn't get back in with the car, so I was parked on PCH where they stopped the traffic,
Hmm.
and and his son was in the fire. So the mother of his son called him and said, "I see the flames coming up on the property. Help Roman out. Just help. Just come." So I looked at him and I pushed him. I said, "You go get everyone out. I'm gonna stay behind." And so this was at 4:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday.
Hmm.
And the next thing I know is his father and his stepmom, they got out safely. So I drove them to a safe location, because they were just also not making any clear thinking, and it was just everything happened very quickly. So then I came back at 5:30, and I had no idea where he was. And I kept calling him. The phone was not going through, and then at 6:30 I received this video message that I think you guys see,
Hmm.
saying that our property is burning on fire and he's on the other side of the road, on the ocean side. And that was my last message from him. And then I tried to call him right away. I said, get out, just get out. And I couldn't reach him,
Oh
you
my
know.
God.
So I was standing on near the gas station near Duke's, and I was praying, you know, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do. I just hope for the best first. And an hour went by, and I still never, I kept calling him, you know, and then I called 911 and I said, please go check on my husband because he's at this address. I know that he's there. I had a message from him, and I begged, you know, the fire department. I said, please just go and check on him. You know, he's there somewhere around, you know. And then an hour and a half went by, no message. And so I was panicking.
Of course. I mean, I
So
can't imagine
I,
what that would have felt like to be trying to reach him, and Sebastian on your end, knowing that she was looking for you and wondering where you were. And then you mentioned you have your father who also had structures near your property. You actually helped to evacuate him. He's 89 years young. How is he?
You know, I, he was saying how happy he is that he's going to spend his last good years of his life. You know, he's very pragmatic. Let's put it that way. He bought a big new TV, 95-inch screen TV. So I'm happy to be here. I don't want to go anyplace. I'll just watch TV. And he was, you know, content.
so when he received this message from the mother of his son, she literally said that the flames are coming at me, and you need to rescue your son. So I called his dad and I said, Richard, you need to get out. And he said, no, I'm fine.
Wow.
I'm okay. You know, there's nothing here. And he was so calm. And he said, just come be with us and come. I'm watching TV. And I said, Richard, you need to get out. You need to get out. And he said, no.
He said, we'll talk about it. Come, we'll talk about it. You know.
So the first thing I did, I called 911 and I called 911 and I told them, please go to this address. You need to rescue these two people, you know. And basically they were able to send the police, and I tried to rescue them as well because I couldn't get back. So I told the police, like, you need to rescue 6 people. You know, we had some of our tenants on the property, you know, who stayed behind, and they tried to leave also. So it was just in a brief moment, you know, everything happened so quickly. I tried to halt from this side of the road, but I couldn't get back in, you know. And so I did everything that I could. After 90 minutes not hearing from Sebastian, I saw the sheriff, you know, and I ran up to them. You know, they were at the gas station, and I said, I'm sorry, guys, I need your help. Like, my husband is there, and you need to rescue him. And this is how he looks like. I showed a picture, and I said, I'm 100% sure he's in. This was the last message. Please go find him. And they said, no, everybody left. You know, it's impossible. And I said, no, I know for a fact. He's very stubborn, you know. He tried to, you know, I mean, he tried to save
it was
the house,
possible,
you know?
because I'm so glad to see the two of you together right now, knowing that, Sebastian, you are back with Livia, and your father and your family is safe, because what you've described tonight, I can only imagine multiplying it by every person in your area who was experiencing something similar. I'm just so glad that you're both okay, and we are just praying for the very best for the community. Sebastian Harrison, Livia Pillman, thank you both so much.